Yes.
So thank you everybody for watching, and we'll catch you next time around.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, wait. Hold the phone.
Oh, what?
Oh my goodness. My great friend, my close friend, Tristan, just said, put his nail in the coffin too.
Oh, wow.
Tristan.
So we're going to let you do that.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a pin.
We've been
Let's
waiting
see
a
here.
long time for you, Tristan.
We
We're
have.
so happy.
We're so happy that you're out and living your life in a way that makes you happy and fulfilled. You're free.
You know what, Tristan? It won't be long, and you'll be here with us. You'll be here. Oh, smash your fingers. You'll be here with us, maybe driving a nail in for your mom. You're a wonderful
Hopefully.
lady. We
Yeah.
hope she'll be soon.
We love you all.
So welcome to your freedom,
Welcome to
everybody.
your freedom, everyone.
Woo.
And we have a prophet among us. Right, Randy?
Awesome.
First one on the coffin lid is Tristan's mom. Boy, did you call that one, Randy.
Teresa, light
here.
green.
Light green, right there.
It
Here-
was wonderful talking to you last Sunday.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, now we should have 7 yellow ones.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 yellow right here, guys.
Now
Name 'em off, Kim.
those are Bella and 2 kids, Robert, Kenny, who was an MS, ministerial servant, Luke, and Martin.
Excellent.
And we're going to be talking about those 7 because a little bit of a story to go with that.
Nice.
Actually, thank you so much, everybody. About half of you gave me your stories, so we're going to be reading those, and it's wonderful. Great stories, some really sad, so great stories. Okay, now we should have 2 red ones.
These 2 red ones right
Maria
here.
and Margaret, friends.
Welcome to your freedom, guys.
Friends for life, best friends, and so happy they came out together. Okay. Now, we have 2 sisters next that are white, the top of the
Okay,
O.
we're going to put you, right here. These 2 pins right here belong to you.
And I'm sorry, I tried to email you back and ask how to pronounce one of your names, and it got bounced back to me, so I apologize. I'm not exactly sure, but I think this is Mikey or Miki. Not exactly sure. And Nettie.
These 2 sisters right here.
Okay, then we have 2 more on the white O.
These next 2 right
Okay,
here.
this is Sarah and her son.
Love it when mom and children or dad and children. I love
Yeah.
it when the children can come out of Watchtower.
So then we have 2 fuchsia color.
That'd be these 2 right here.
All right, this is Stuart and Jane, a couple. Okay, now we should have 3 by the orange 8. There should
Yes.
be 8 the orange because these 3 go with those 8, and we're going to be telling their story.
Because if you can all kind of recall, all of these right here are one family out of one congregation and friends out of one congregation,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So
Friends and
Watchtower,
family.
Watchtower, you can't stop the bleeding. You just can't do it.
Okay, so then should be next 2 are dark green.
Dark green, these ones, did you name these name? I don't think you did, dear.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is Brian, Beth, and Ann.
Welcome to your freedom, and welcome to the destruction of a congregation. No, thank you for the destruction of a congregation.
Actually, we've got a story of 2 congregations.
Cool. Okay, now
Okay,
we...
so that was John and Helen.
Yep, so now we're going
All right,
down
now
to...
we're going to the next page.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one should be a black one.
Black. Okay,
is-
so the John and the Helen were the 2 green ones. Okay, I didn't point them out. So the 2 green ones were John and Helen.
Yep, and then we have a black one.
Black one,
Robert.
Robert. Cool.
And then we have a dark blue one, which is Curtis.
Right there. Curtis. Cool.
Okay, now we're going to go up here to the top. Now, last Nail and Coffin, we did Shy's yellow pin up here.
Yeah, this one was Shy.
And she did not know that she could put her children on these. So this is for Jay, Kaysen, and Riley.
These 3 yellow right here
With
next
their
to
mom.
their mom.
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay, so then we should go down to the dark purple one.
Yep, right here.
And that is for Faye.
Faye,
And
oh yes.
Faye fed us lunch. So it was very nice meeting you in person, and we're going to be telling her story too.
Excellent. Excellent.
Okay, then we have a clear one.
Yep.
Alexander.
Boy, this just keeps getting better and better
Yeah.
all the time.
And Alexander might possibly have some more names for us, but he didn't get back with me in time for this video.
Oh,
so,
nice. So next one.
Yeah.
Next video. Cool.
Yeah. So then the next one should be gray.
Yep.
This is for Steve.
Right there, Steve.
Okay, and then an orange one.
Yep.
Should be Samantha.
Cool.
A green one should be Steven. On the edge of jw.org is a blue one,
Yep. Right here.
and that is for Efrain.
Right there. Oh, cool.
Yep, and we've got his story. Okay, and then we go back down to a gray one.
Okay. No, I think no. Did you kind of get that one mixed up there, dear?
No, a green one.
Green one? Gray
Okay,
one?
we did the green one.
All right, I'm sorry.
He's the one
My
that's mixed up. Okay, this is for Norma Sue. It was great talking to you last night, sweetie. Okay, then we have a teal colored
Yep.
one. DB.
All right, that right there confirms it. I was the one that was confused. That's my fault, guys.
No question. Okay, then we're going to go
Okay, so what was the name of that person again?
DB.
DB, right
Yeah.
there. This teal one. Cool.
Still in talking to family, so has to use initials.
Yep.
Okay, then we're going to go back up to the O to John.
Yeah, right here.
Okay. And then we're going to go back down to the blue one.
A blue boy.
Mikey's getting his
I am.
exercise.
I am.
Okay, this is D'Artagnan.
D'Artagnan. Cool.
Wonderful story. Can't wait to tell that one. And then we have a yellow one. Should be Josh. All right.
Right here.
And then a red one.
Right here.
Rosabella.
Guys, welcome to your freedom.
Okay, then we have a family of 5.
Right
and
here.
should be dark fuchsia.
Yeah, right here.
This is Lana, Larry, Brandon, Sherry, and Anjal. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name. And my goodness, welcome to your freedom,
Yes.
everybody. And amazing the emails I got in 1 week. I mean, after we did that last one, the emails just started pouring in. So we're sorry if we've missed anyone. And if you want to be a nail in the coffin, just go to watchtower.exposed and click on contact and send me an email and put nail and coffin in the subject line, because I know I'm way behind on emails, but when we get ready to do a video, I do a search and those come up.
Yes, and just so we can qualify this, you'd either have to have woken up, been disfellowshipped since 2014. Right.
Now-
or disassociated.
Yeah, or if you just walked away, because we have so many new ones that are asking what the nail and coffin is. And this is Watchtower's coffin lid. This is their death. And every single one of these nails represents a person that has left and just say, adios, muchachos.
And or are fully awake and still
in.
inside, hoping to wake up friends and family, which, you know, this section right here shows that.
Yep. Now also, the old timers, the little silver nail here, that is
cross.
for ones that left before 2014, and we still want to pound you on here and say your name.
Yes,
So.
because it's one thing that Kim and I have recognized since doing this. There's been many of you that have been out for 10, 15 years. And then for that little, you know, thought that still lives in the back of your mind saying, oh my God, what if they're right? And then you go online and you find, you know, where the local Kingdom Hall might be, and then all of a sudden you see all of everybody's videos, and then you start clicking on them, and then you say, oh my God, I'm not going back. Well, that's what this old timers nail is for. So
Yes.
we try to incorporate everybody that's never going to go back to Watchtower.
Yes, and we apologize now. This is going to be a little bit long, but we've got some great stories and some news here. But first, I want to do some YouTube channels that we have come across. Steve Williams, and then Johnny Witness. And Johnny Witness is the one that is from that original congregation that we've already done 12 nails.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about them some more here in a few minutes. So his YouTube channel is Johnny Witness. And then very nice man. He is an ex-elder. His YouTube channel is the # and then a space and then 4747. Excellent videos, you know, very honest-hearted, dear brother. So, and then we have another YouTube channel. It's Always the Way, and it's all one word. Always the Way. And then Filling the Bookshelf. That's another YouTube channel.
Cool.
Yep. So a lot of...
And it's wonderful to see everybody coming out and doing their own story on their own channel. We get to see who they are face to face. We get to see the emotion, and we get to hear their story, because this story it's one of familiarity. We're all familiar with it. We've all been victims of this cult, and we're all trying to find our way in life once again. And for a lot of us, we've had our childhood stolen. We've had families taken from us, but we all have a commonality. We've all escaped this destructive cult that calls itself the Watchtower Bible Tract Society.
And that's the thing, is some of these stories, you know, it shows that you're moving on and you're living a normal life. And that is the best thing you can do, because, you know, for all of those friends and family we've left in the organization, there's an old saying, and I don't remember who said it, but revenge is the best, or excuse me, success is the best revenge.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, also, when we were having lunch with Faye, she told us that she had seen what the congregation was in Canada, and we've all been trying to find that out. And she told us that it is the Northeast Edmonton, Sherwin Park area. So...
And that was one of the ones that was dissolved, correct?
that is the congregation that they walked away, and we've
They
all
all
been
walked
trying to
away,
find out,
yeah.
you know, what it was.
Yeah.
Now, something else from Canada, and I want to thank the DeVry family, and I can never say this name, Saskatchewan?
Saskatchewan.
I finally said it right, yay! And Manitoba, the central part of Canada. There is no regional conventions for Jehovah's Witnesses in that whole central section. Whoops, I just marked him with pin.
That's okay. It's better than the spit you just put on me last time.
That's what happens when you sit next to me. There's no telling what you're going to get on you. But I even went to jw.org and I put in a lot of these Canadian areas. And, yep, absolutely. There is no regional convention for those provinces.
Central part of the country. Cool.
Yep, exactly. And also stay tuned to the very end after we say goodbye, because Randy's daughter Miranda has a song for everybody, and it's actually from the February 16th, 2016 video. We're going to put the link down below, because then that's where Randy had his prophetic moment.
Yeah.
Now, the last family that we put on the coffin lid, they were the dark fuchsia. Lana, loved her email, because this is what she said. She has many non-JW friends and co-workers watching our videos.
Wow.
And a co-worker stopped 2 Bible studies with Jehovah's Witnesses because of our videos.
Oh, wow. That's good. I'm glad our style isn't really frightening everybody away like, you know, we've been accused of doing.
Yeah, we were accused of being damaging to this community. It's like,
we're going to be scaring people away. Well, I guess we're proving them wrong, aren't we?
Yeah. Now, Tristan's mom, Teresa,
yes.
we hope, we're going to be prophetic here. We hope that the dad, you know, Tristan's dad, will be a nail in the coffin soon. But she wanted me to say that she finally pulled the nail out of her brain and she had a spiritual lobotomy. So,
Yo, that's a good way of putting it. A spiritual lobotomy.
yes. Now, Faye, our hostess last week, who fed us a wonderful lunch, we want to tell her story here. She is an ex-elder's wife. Her ex-husband was an alcoholic and an elder, and a lot of problems. And started waking up in June of 2015. She was DF'd. And if I can read my writing, it looks like that 607 was a big thing. Now, this is the sad part because her elder pioneer son messaged her and tells her that they need closure, so she needed to contact her elders.
Yeah, see, she was trying to have a successful fade.
Yeah.
See, and I've said this before. There is no such thing as a successful fade because eventually somebody is going to force the issue sooner or later. And we've talked to people that have faded for 9 years. And because they put Christmas lights up in their house, boom, they were the elders to disfellowship them.
Yeah. So she told her son, no, I don't. Well, then her elders called her and says, I understand you do not believe the tenets of Jehovah's Witnesses anymore. And she said, that's true. And then he says, we feel we should have an announcement. And then she gets a text, says, this is to confirm that you no longer want to be a Jehovah's Witness. So she did not have a judicial hearing either. And that's how she was.
And that's how these guys are operating these days. If you don't go to that judicial hearing, you're going to get DF just like you and I. And it doesn't matter whether you've got plans and you're out of town or not. To these guys, it don't matter. You know, they get that little whiff of blood like a shark does, and they're right there to feed on the misery.
Piranha. You know, here's her own son, and he just can't let it go. He needs closure, so he's got to betray his own mom. And wow.
Yep.
Wow.
But anyhow, Faye, welcome to your freedom anyways. And again, everybody, this is such a joyous occasion. I know we have some stories, you might have some sad stories, but still, it's all in the scope of freedom.
Yep.
And we're all free now. This noose around our neck is gone.
Well, that's why we always like to wear our T-shirts for these nail and coffins, the TAT T-shirts, you know, the truth about the truth. My goodness. And we used to hear all these wonderful stories at the regional convention and circuit assembly about, you know, oh, how this happened and that happened. And they started pioneering. Well, so we like to tell experiences of those leaving,
Coming out.
What woke them up, you know, what they had to go through to get to this point. So now, before we get into actual stories, I want to thank Jean. And she says, I recently watched your video, Heads on a Silver Platter, where Mikey suggested counting how many times governing body, Jehovah, and Jesus was mentioned. I have done that for you. Thank you, Jean. Appreciate it. She says, the governing body was mentioned 40 times, Jehovah 7 times, and Jesus 25 times. So, shows where their priority is.
It's in the governing body.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Like I said, got quite a few here, and thank you so much, everybody, for sharing your stories. Now, this is from D'Artagnan. I recently found your channel, and I just love you guys and what you're trying to do. I particularly love your nail in the coffin videos, and you're on this one. It is very heartwarming to see people fleeing the JW cult en masse. In fact, you inspired me to share my story. I left the cult 12 years ago, and I hope my story can also be one of encouragement to those who are afraid that the world will consume them if they leave the safety of the organization. I was born into the cult in 1985. My family, to those in the cult, was the stereotypical perfect JW family. My dad was presiding overseer. My grandfather was a theocratic school overseer. My mother and grandmother were full-time pioneers. My younger brother and I were auxiliary pioneers and were both appointed ministerial servants by age of 17. So that's the perfect JW family.
Yep.
And before I was disfellowshipped, I was set to go to Bethel. But on the inside, we were anything but perfect. My mother was bipolar, manic depressive, and highly controlling individual who suffered from extreme cases of perfectionism and narcissism. My father was incredibly weak-willed and basically did whatever she told him to. They were both physically and emotionally abusive to me my entire life. So sorry to hear that. They personified Watchtower organization. Strive for perfection, but when you inevitably fail, beat you into the dust for your inadequacy. They pushed me constantly to be perfect in all aspects of life, at home, in school, and minuses were grounds for severe punishment, and were always threatening to take away my so-called kingdom privileges if I breached any of the proliferous JW rules and protocol. We had to be the perfect example after all, right? Exactly.
Yep.
They pushed me into baptism at 13 years old, but I always felt like I was just going through the motions to stay under the radar and be as perfect as I could to avoid punishment. I never enjoyed Bible study, field service, or any of the asinine activities that JWs are required to do. At the same time, I had always struggled with my sexuality from a very young age. I knew I liked boys since kindergarten. But of course that was grievous sin, and so I lived with the shame in secret. When I was 19, I could not take it living a lie anymore and finally began to explore my sexuality in secret. But my super controlling parents quickly found out and threw out the ultimatum: repent and go to a homosexual conversion therapy center or leave the home. My goodness. At that moment, all of the years of trying to live up to an unattainable ideal, both for my unloving family and a tyrannical cult, became more than I could bear. So I packed a bag and left. I will always remember my father telling me as I walked out the door that he expected to hear of me dead in the gutter within the year. Disgusting.
Yeah, it's just how they feel about their kids that don't stay in the organization.
Yeah, or you don't fit in their box of perfection.
Yep.
You know, it's horrible. You know, and we get that a lot. You know,
Yeah,
a lot
we
of
do.
people tell us, you know, I never seem to fit in, and, you know, sometimes I just don't fit in now, even with the XJW community. Don't try to fit in. We're all individuals. Be proud of your individuality and your uniqueness. Don't try to fit in anywhere. Let others fit in with you.
Yeah, exactly.
So back to his story. I was told by my father that I was DF'd a week later. I lived in my car for 6 weeks, eating top ramen with water from gas station bathroom sinks before a couple of kind, gay friends let me move in. I sincerely believe that but for their kindness and support, I would not be here today. On more than one occasion, I seriously considered ending my life to shut out the incredible emotional pain and loss, and their worldly support helped me to realize that at 19 years old, I had so much to live yet to live. Exactly. Fortunately, no longer homeless, I then had to face all the emotional baggage of my youth, the abuse, my sexuality, being disowned, losing all friends and family, and the guilt of leaving God's organization. Coming to terms with the realization I had been brainwashed by a cult. And that is a lot of baggage.
It is. It's
to
a
deal
lot.
with. Yeah. While at the same time having to quickly learn to be an adult. Having come from such a controlling family, I did not know how to even do the simple adult task like write a check or pay bills. But I persevered. I got a full-time job as a retail buyer assistant, and at the recommendation of my gay friends, enrolled myself into junior college full-time at night. School had never been an option because no perfect JW even thinks about college. So the college experience scared the hell out of me. Fast forward 12 years. I have now finished my bachelor's and MBA in business. I just graduated from law school 2 months ago and am currently preparing to take the bar exam. At the same time, I have developed a 12-year career in supply chain management with multiple corporations. From a personal side, 6 years ago, I found the love of my life in a good and kind man, and we married 2 years ago. My journey has been a hard-fought one, like all of us who have left the cult have experienced. The process is gut-wrenching and psychologically taxing. I have not seen or heard from one of my family members in 10 years, and I still work daily through the emotional trauma they forced upon me. I struggle with the regrets of never having a real childhood or getting to enjoy my 20s due to having to work so hard with full-time work and full-time school for over a decade. I also struggle to trust people, having seen the hard way just how heartless so-called friends and family can be.
And that's Jehovah's Witnesses in a nutshell.
Yeah.
They're heartless.
Yep. However, I made a promise to myself on the day I walked out my parents' door that I would never again let the Watchtower organization and its Orwellian tactics dictate my life and its happiness. And that is a promise I intend to keep. So that's my story in abridged form, which you can feel free to share if you wish on your channel. None of it is meant as boasting. I just hope that my story can give courage and strength to those who feel that life outside Watchtower will be nothing but bleak misery. This is far from true. Thank you for taking the time to read my experience, and please never stop what you're doing as activists. You both are inspirations to so many. Thank you, D'Artagnan.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yes, thank you for sharing that story. And it's a very compelling story because there's absolute truth in his words. You know, the thing that a JW parent will look at upon their child if they leave the organization is that you're going to be an instant failure. Well, that's the indoctrination that Watchtower throws out there, so that if by chance you are a failure, your parents are there to say, see, Watchtower was right. Well, the only reason why Watchtower can say that, it's like a craps game. You know, you throw the dice, you might get snake eyes or you might get a pair of sixes. You have a 50-50 chance of either you're going to be a success, and success is the best revenge, which proves Watchtower wrong, or your life could become one of, I don't know, less than perfect, and your parents are saying, see, this is what happens when you leave the Watchtower. I know, because this is the same bullshit that my mother tried to pull on my brother for decades. Of course, she doesn't do that anymore now that I'm out of Watchtower, and I've had opportunity to explain to my brother what's really going on.
Yes. So the next story is from Efrain. When I was growing up, my grandparents raised me. My grandma was an inactive witness and my grandpa was not. I was baptized at age 14 and then one point pioneered in 2016. That same year I graduated high school and I was 16, turning 17. I graduated early and regular pioneered. The elders told me not to go, to stay to save lives, and when I watched the Royal Commission, it helped wake myself up. Guess what? I resigned as a regular pioneer that same month on the 16th. Believe it or not, the reason why I remember this date is because after I told the elder, I went to see Star Wars with my girlfriend, LOL. The astonishing part about this whole situation is that after all the evidence I presented to the elders, they never cared to form a judicial committee. At one point they did and just removed me as part of the school of theocratic. I'm like, what the hell, LOL. So I'm currently an inactive witness, and I don't really care to expose my name, LOL. Currently, I'm a sophomore at my university as an honor student. Awesome.
Cool.
And work as a CRM, call agent at real estate. I have a girlfriend who is loving and supportive, and I just want to start a charity as a CFO for traumatized veterans, abused children, and cults. I just want to make a world of difference. I would be honored to be a pin in your coffin. I hope to stay in contact with you guys.
Actually, the honor's all ours.
Yes. Yes, it is. Now, this is from Sharon. Now, this was the 8 pins, orange pins.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, and this was the 3 more, right?
Yep.
Hi, Mike and Kim. I have another 3 to put nails in coffin. My friend Pat, whose nail was put in with ours. So their friend Pat was put in with theirs, part of the 8, whose nail, yep. Her husband Brian is now out along with her mom, Beth, and her aunt, Ann. Can you please put in nails for them too next time? Her husband Brian used to be an elder in our congregation, and both of them used to be missionaries in the Dominion. Wow. She requested that I would email you back for 3 more nails for Brian, Ann, and Beth. Again, thank you both so much for what you do. It must be exhausting, but well worth it. It certainly doesn't go unnoticed. Lots of love. Thank you, sweetie.
Yes. Let's just clarify something real quick. It's not really all that exhaustive for me and Kim because he's the guy that's really doing the running around.
Funny. Well, all I can say is I couldn't do it alone.
Yes. Yeah, that's very, very true.
And I always pray that, I get strength to keep doing this. And for some reason, I may be a little behind on my emails, but I have a tendency to get everything done.
Yeah, it does, eventually.
Yeah, which is awesome. All right, now I'm looking for Johnny Witness's email here. I don't know what I have done for it, so maybe you can find it while I'm reading another one.
Are you serious? You really want me to look for that email on this desktop? You've got to be kidding me.
Oh my goodness, I really need that email. Oh, good Lord. It was right here. Oh, wow. Okay, this is from Maria. Hi, Kim and Mike. Would like to thank you both for all your hard work in setting people free from Watchtower Cult. I messaged you when my friend Margaret and myself left the Witnesses after watching the Royal Australian Commission that you brought out in one of your videos. I had felt doubts for quite a while, but you know what it's like. You dismiss such thoughts anyway. I started praying, asking for direction and help for what to do. I said to my Heavenly Father, you know me, I have to be told in no uncertain terms leaving. No doubt that I have to leave. Well, my friend, in beknowing to me, was having doubts as well. She had been watching your videos and came and told me to watch the Royal Australian Commission, which I did very quietly. Well, I did pray for no doubts. Well, I got it right between the eyes. We both didn't go back. It's been listening to your videos has helped us immensely. Please, it's now been 14 months, and we, myself and Margaret, want the nails in the coffin. If you could please, we printed off some leaflets from sites you told us about and took it round our local car boot sale where the Witnesses did the cart on Saturdays. Well, they don't go anymore. We spoke to all the stall holders. A couple were having studies. Well, that soon stopped. So keep up the essential good works you're both doing. Love, Maria and Margaret. Thank you, sweeties.
Thank you.
You keep up the good work, too.
Yeah, you guys definitely keep up that good work.
Yeah, my goodness.
I like that. You get hit right between the eyes.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yep.
Yep.
Dear Mike and Kim, please add my nail to the nail and coffin. Below is a brief description of my story. You have my permission to share it on YouTube. And this is from Samantha. I was born in the organization and my parents were and still are devout JWs. At the age of 17, I was given an alternative to get baptized or leave the family home.
Yep.
Disgusting. I told my parents I believed the organization was false and would never get baptized. So that same day, my mom packed my bags and called me a taxi and put me out on the street, which set a motion of bad choices, or years of bad choices, because I was not equipped to deal with life outside the organization. Well, 17. What?
Yeah.
At that age, what person is equipped, to be out on their own and thrown out on the street with nothing?
Well, the thing is, for every one of you JW parents that does this, shame on you. You people should be put to shame because of what you do to your own children.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
How is that loving?
It's
How
not.
is that being Christ-like?
And this is what I keep saying about there are no honest-hearted JWs. And thanks, Spikar, for that video you did talking about there are no honest JWs, because an honest JW is going to leave. Just like elders, there are no honest, because if there's an honest elder, he's leaving.
Or at least awake mentally. You know, we know some have to stay in because of friends and family.
Yes.
But at least they're awake and they're not abusing people anymore.
Exactly. They're not part of the mechanism hurting people, even though they might still be inside.
Okay, so back to Samantha's email. I swore I would never set foot in a Kingdom Hall again, but 20 years later, when I was at the lowest point in my life, mentally and financially, I was guilted to have a Bible study, and in only 5.5 months of studying, I was baptized in 2013. Didn't take long for me to realize what a huge mistake I had made once I started to become strong mentally again. I literally woke up from my heavily medicated state. I realized that I had made the biggest mistake of my life. I had to get out as soon as I could. So I confessed to serious wrongdoing and I was disfellowshipped in October 2015. For those 17 years prior to my baptism, I had rebuilt a close relationship with my parents and relied heavily on their support because of a serious motorcycle accident that I had in mid-90s, which left me with a disability and some physical issues. Since my disfellowshipping, my parents and my 2 brothers have followed the strict shunning policy of the organization. I miss my family so much, but the thought of going back to the organization is a fate worse than death for me. Since I had lost my family, my whole support network in Australia, I decided to move to Bali in 2015. Bali or Bali?
I'm going to leave that to you.
I always say Bali.
Bali, yeah. That's what
Because
say.
I have always found peace here. I do get lonely at times, but the beautiful gentleness of the Balinese and their religion, Hinduism, which is practiced on the island, gives me hope and faith again. Thank you so much for all the time and effort you put into your YouTube channel. I believe that it helps so many people, including myself. Warmest regards, Samantha. Thank you, sweetie. Appreciate it. Okay. Oh, this is the email from Faye. Yeah, because she sent me the email from the elder. It says, Faye, thank you for responding to ensure that I had the correct address. In speaking with you a couple of weeks ago, Brother Kin and I heard you state that you could no longer conscientiously call yourself one of Jehovah's Witnesses. We understood that you had felt that way for some time, notably since January, and especially since you had considered other viewpoints. When we talked at that time, you told us that you knew that you were actually disassociating yourself from the congregation. You stated that before 2 witnesses. They're such corporation legal idiots.
Corporate monkeys is what they are.
But we would appreciate you penning a short note by way of reply to this email that you no longer consider yourself as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Thank you for the dignified manner in which you listened to us and spoke with us. Should you ever wish to become part of the congregation in future, please contact blank, the nearest congregation wherein the elders will be pleased to assist you. Yeah, I would have told
corporate rules, corporate monkeys, corporate idiots. Nothing, absolutely nothing to do with God.
I just found Johnny Witness's email.
Well, there you go. I figured you would.
I knew it was in this pile somewhere. Okay, now these are the ones that we're adding to the 12.
Yeah, it was all of these. Let's see, the 12. Wait a minute.
Well, they're all different colors, so you're not going to remember.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'll just shut up like a good little monkey.
Dear Kim and Mike, I'm currently watching your latest nail and coffin video and have some more wonderful news. 7 more leavers. So to add to Johnny Witness, me, who left in 2012, Robert the Elder and wife Angela, E.G. and A.J. left in 2016, M.N. and brother-in-law to Robert, wife M.N. Now these were all in the previous nail and coffins. Okay. Left in 20... Sandra and 3 grown children left in 2014. There is now the Bella. 2 grown children have also left. The other one is Robert, who was a study of the elder Robert. He was a study for over 12 years, but has woken up before he could get baptized. The 3 more brothers, one of whom was a ministerial servant, and that was Kenny. Luke and Martin, who left in 2016, respectively. That now makes 19 from one original congregation. It must be noted that we all started in the same congregation but went to others after. I doubt they will need more kingdom halls for us 19. Hey?
Yeah, that's true.
He says, I want to ask if you could give a shout out to my YouTube channel if you'd be so kind. I have around 40 videos but thought you would like to watch the following. And that was Johnny Witness. So,
yes.
19 from that original congregation now.
Now, wasn't he one of the ones that asked for an M&M fueled rant?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Yep.
And, well, anyways, you guys got that with our secretly recorded
Elders meeting.
elders meeting with a cop and the 2 elders regarding child sexual abuse.
Okay, now this one is from Stuart and Jane. To Mike and Kim, please could you add us to the ever-growing nails? We'd love to be part of a nail and coffin. Fuchsia-colored nails if possible. Our story, my husband baptized 15 years, myself 3 years. Although we associated and studied on and off for 20 years, we were introduced to Watchtower by good old friends who I admired and respected. I always thought they had something different and wanted to know all about it. As soon as I found out and realized years later that they were the exception to the normal JW, Anyways, fast forward a few years, we got hooked into thinking it was God's channel and all the Watchtower teachings. There were some doubts and questions, but realize you can't question things openly. You can't be truthful in the truth. It was that aspect that slowly dawned that something was wrong with this organization and started to research. Well, it was like a bomb had gone off. The Australian Royal Commission, United Nations, investments, and TAT. It's shocking, devastating, but found it comforting in a way that at last we weren't going mad or mentally diseased bad people.
That's true.
Yeah, it's not you, it's them.
It's them, yeah.
Your YouTube videos helped so much in helping us understand and come to terms with this cult that had insidiously tried to take over our brains and life. Our conscience couldn't allow us to do ministry or attend meetings and listen to the propaganda anymore. We haven't attended for a year now and are trying to fade carefully. It has been very hard to cope with, but the XJW forums and YouTubers have been fantastic help. Thank goodness for the internet. We really can't thank you guys enough for all your hard work and honest endeavor to alert as many people as possible about this corrupt, hypocritical, cruel Watchtower Corporation. Indebted to you both. Many thanks from across the pond in the UK. Stuart and Jane, and hello back from across the pond.
Yes. Yes, and there's a lot of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses in that UK area that are wonderful support
Waking
systems.
up, yeah. And there's a tremendous activism group, in Australia now that is just on fire right now.
Yep.
I'll be surprised if there's any witnesses left in Australia after all this.
Yeah.
Norma Sue, it was wonderful talking to you last night, and she awoke back in February of 2017. She says, Dear Mike and Kim, I woke up in February of this year. I was disfellowshipped almost 30 years ago, but I still believed it was the truth. And if I didn't return, I would die for sure in Armageddon. I tried to return 3 times, but it was like sitting in an icebox surrounded by icy people and would give up. These are God's people? ? Jake Control video about whether Jesus was my mediator sent shockwaves through me, and then the YouTube video binge began. Then I found the Australian Royal Commission, and that was my figurative nail in the jw.org for me. I knew. Now, not only do I want a nail in the coffin, I want to sue them for misrepresentation and kidnapping. They stole my life by altering its direction. I didn't have children because I thought they would die because of me. So many decisions I made based on what they taught.
Yep.
And this is,
Yeah,
they ruin lives.
There has to be some way to hold them accountable.
Yeah, and I wish they would. Now I am awake and taking baby steps. My deepest thanks to you both and all the others who released my mind and allowed me to let go of guilt, hopelessness, and find my own way. Much love, Norma Sue. Thank you, Norma Sue.
Thank you so much. Glad that we could be of help.
Yeah. Okay. This is from David. I am David from across the Atlantic, Scotland. First, a small introduction. I was born in 1959, so I'm an old bugger by now. In 2007, I retired from the police service, having served 30 years. I now do genealogy as a part-time earner to supplement my pension. In mid-1990, I think it was, 1993, I started a study with JWs. Prior to this, I did not have any religious background. I was welcomed with open arms at my local hall. I was somewhat unique in that I was a serving police officer. People, even many elders, came to me for secular advice.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
It's free now.
If they can use you, of course.
Yeah.
This boosted my feeling of self-importance within the hall, and quite frankly, probably made me a big-headed twat. But I feel comfortable and met many genuine, amazing people. This was a far cry from my daily working life where I dealt with other unpleasant aspects of society. By 1994, I was baptized. However, around this time, the generation positions shifted. I explained this position to a workmate who laughed and said, Dave, I knew it was all crap, but this confirms it. JWs are hedging their bets. Yeah?
Yep, that's what they're doing.
Yep, this got me thinking.
Literally.
Yeah.
It's like a crapshoot.
So I started my own research at the Kingdom Hall. The old books listed a string of broken promises and prophecies. I decided to fade away, and so did my contacts with JWs. Sorry. I was not shunned in any sense, and of course had no family problems. I also had a network of friends out with the truth. I have had no further contact with either the Kingdom Hall or the brothers and sisters, unless you count a chance meeting at a supermarket or similar. This would have been the last I would have ever said on this subject until, from a police interest point of view, I watched the Australian Royal Commission. That's a deal breaker.
Yep.
As I heard the testimony of a governing body member and a few elders, quite frankly, I was disgusted at the evasive answers and half-truths. Quite frankly, if it had been a criminal court in Scotland, some of these persons may well have been charged with contempt. I think they should have all been charged with contempt.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this got me thinking, and for the first time I discovered a few YouTube channels, including yours. I am now a regular viewer. I now live alone as my son is married and has flown the nest, so I can now watch the television without arguments over my preferred viewing content. Against The Simpsons or such rubbish. Actually, I grew to like The Simpsons eventually.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the point. What I learned about the new overlapping generation, the Australian Royal Commission, and a few other things astounded me. But it was the revelation about the United Nations that made my jaw drop. Now I can accept the embarrassment of being fooled by a cult with erroneous but well-intentioned ideas. But I will not be deliberately lied to. And it's all capital letters.
Yep.
I am now not only embarrassed and annoyed, but my heart goes out to the brothers and sisters in the hall who are being deceived. You make an excellent channel on YouTube. It is informative. Husband and wife make excellent teams on these occasions as you both complement each other's strengths and weaknesses. We will probably never meet in person, but I think if we ever did, a good few laughs would be inevitable. Please accept my best wishes as a stranger from Scotland. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you.
My goodness. Okay, now this was John, one of the nails in the coffin. As a member of the Watchtower and Bible Tract Corporation since birth, but been formally baptized as Jehovah's Witness at 16 until 25, my awakening, as it is commonly called within the XJW community, has been a very slow process, often with emotional and psychological inner turmoil that can only be understood from knowing what it means to be a JW.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in a cult.
Yep, exactly.
Being now 43 years of age, from being disfellowshipped at 25 and being reinstated age 27 and up until this point, I always firmly believed and would have been a fervent advocate of the organization and its governing body as God's representative and channel on earth, despite having some small minor disagreements with some doctrinal points. There is a wider story here that every fading or XJW has, and mine was the hurdle to me finally waking up after 25 years. I ask God that He grants me the courage to one day finding the courage to put it in writing as my own valid mind-wrangling testimony. However, in the above paragraph I mentioned minor doctrinal differences. Well, that's how my mind seen them. I seen those differences of not being of enough significant value to stop me believing in the fundamentals of the faith for 25 years, being one God Jehovah, His Son Christ Jesus, and the Holy Spirit from a monotheist perspective. God's faithful and discreet slave being the governing body here on earth as Christ's representative. The heavenly class is the 144,000 as to speaks of literally in Revelation, and that of my own hope to live on the paradise on earth as part of the great crowd. Everything else I could wait on Jehovah to put right, and therefore I was willing to put my own critical thinking aside. Simply put, I was ready to meet Jehovah and prepared to die for my choice in life. Part of the wider story. Until this point, Christ through Paul himself gave us the instruction to think for ourselves, to continue examining the scriptures ourselves, just like the Bereans.
Yep.
My journey officially started when a member of the governing body of the corporation stated clearly within his testimony to the Australian Royal Commission that it would be presumptuous of us to assume that we're God's only channel here on earth.
That's a biggie.
Australian Royal Commission, the gift that keeps giving.
Yes. The freedom that's found within that Australian Royal Commission.
Yes.
Yep.
I love that Australian Royal Commission.
I know, but you just got to get some current JWs to get past the thought process that your governing body member, Jeffrey Jackson, is who he really is. This wasn't some paid apostate actor that was sitting in his behalf. See, you Jehovah's Witnesses that have made comments like that, you really need to look at that microscope a whole lot closer than what you have been.
Yeah. When Jeffrey Jackson stated those mortal words, my ears could not believe what I had just heard, what it meant for me, what it would mean for me, how for many decades, even after having no direct association with the organization, apart from my family every week asking me to come back, and the constant references to Jehovah and Armageddon whenever we would meet. Even at 43 years of age and not having had direct association, my mind would not accept what a governing body member had stated. After a month of inner turmoil, I revisited the video. I replayed it repeatedly in order to gain any window of misunderstanding so that I could go on in the mental mind control in my comfort zone to what I had been used to living with for the last 20 years. Simply, I did not want to know. And I think that's what a lot of the Jehovah's Witnesses, they're in denial.
Yeah, they don't want to know.
I wanted to suppress what he said and what I had heard. Another month passed, and I could not suppress it any longer. So I began my journey with the following scripture, Matthew 7:21. Note, throughout this document you will see that I refer to the New World Translation often when quoting scripture. This is purposeful in order to refute the doctrinal teachings. Yeah, because that's why we use it, because that's what indoctrinated all of us.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. And then he quotes that scripture in 21. That's the one about Lord, Lord.
Not everyone.
Man of lawlessness.
Yeah.
What started this independent and critical thinking off? Why now, and how does it make me feel? The following outlines my slow, solid approach to looking at the organization, and although my research may seem ad hoc, it shows my shock and horror at the start of my journey finding out about the Australian Royal Commission concerning the Watchtower Corporation, where it unfortunately deals with the policy and procedures where it allowed for the existence, unknown to the secular authorities, of some 26,000 recorded pedophiles within the corporation. I would be surprised it's that low. I think there's more.
Yeah.
With that statement, finally I'm free, and to use an excerpt of another hijacked scripture so widely used by the Watchtower Corporation, and free to look at other works in line with Mankind's Search for God book, page 8, paragraph 11. To study different religions need not imply infidelity to one's own faith, but rather it may be enlarged by seeing how other people have sought for reality and have been enriched by their search. Knowledge leads to understanding, and understanding to tolerance of people with a different viewpoint. What if that research gives you emancipation? I am free.
Welcome to your freedom.
Thank you so much, John. My goodness. We already read Efrain's story, but he just repeats what he's doing, and he's in school and has a girlfriend. So glad. All right. John and Helen, thank you for your activism towards revealing the true organization that Watchtower really is. Your videos, along with the many others who have been brave enough to appear publicly, have helped my wife and I a great deal in our realizing freedom by escaping Watchtower recently. Thank you so much. We have great contempt for Watchtower and those in it who are culpable for the organization's harmful policies and behavior. The damage done cannot be tallied because it is beyond comprehension. So true.
Yeah.
So true.
It is.
Very good point. Please include us both in your next episode of adding victims to the lid of the symbolic coffin. As a way of introduction, we will simply give you a brief history of our entanglement with Watchtower. As a married couple, we became JWs in our mid-20s, much to the chagrin of our families and relatives who were Catholics. I became a ministerial servant after a few years. After only 5 years in the organization, we left of our own accord. There were too many inconsistencies. It was as if a heavy weight had been lifted off of our shoulders. We faded and eventually moved away. We carried on with life, sort of. Fast forward 22 years. I accepted the tract, "The end of false religion is near," from a pioneer at our door. Babylon the Great will soon be destroyed at Armageddon. The Watchtower indoctrination from the first time around suddenly emerged and slowly unfolded. Several months later, we were back at meetings. However, things were very different, and red flags started to appear right from the get-go. Of course, being brainwashed, these red flags were not of primary importance. Our goal was to become part of a loving congregation, building friendships and loving one another as if we were real family. We were to serve Watchtower to the best of our ability. I wanted to carry on what I left off as a ministerial servant. Fast forward 10 years, I ended up with a serious heart ailment due to an overwhelming amount of repressive rage. So sorry to hear about that. He says cognitive dissonance, etc. My wife developed serious anxiety from the same Watchtower-induced toxic waste. Last year, 2016, was the worst year we had experienced. Absolutely no help at all from anyone in the congregation. The elders were hiding. The others were avoiding us. We felt that we needed to find a new congregation because of the coldness of this one. We missed many meetings, especially towards the end of the year, and we were just listening in through KH Conf. We were still trying to have an active status by putting in 1 hour per month of field service. Soon after reading about TAT online, the contempt we had for the elders extended to the governing body. Watching XJW videos became our favorite pursuit. On April 1st of this year, 2017, we sent in our letter of disassociation to the body of elders, as well as to Watchtower Branch, along with a cover letter. We have attached both for your entertainment. Thank you. Elements of the letter of disassociation were formatted purposely and with intention. For example, the date being April 1st, a day of nonsense.
There's a lot of nonsense in Watchtower articles that are found in the April issue of the Watchtower.
So that's very appropriate.
We've done.
Do your disassociation letter on that day.
Yes, we've done quite a few videos exposing some of those April Fool's articles in the Watchtower.
Yeah. He says a day of nonsense is appropriately representative for matters pertaining to Watchtower. The return address is that of the Kingdom Hall and not our personal address. The body of the letter is one large paragraph, forcing the reader, the elder, to find the letter's purpose, which is stated past the halfway point, and subject him to truths his cult-trained conscience is unable to comprehend. The rest of the paragraph is to humiliate and expose the Watchtower. Our copies of the letter to you are redacted. We have changed our names to those whom we consider to be a couple of the most despicable JWs we know. Last year, out of frustration, we composed letters explaining our experiences with the dysfunctional body of elders with the intention of addressing them to the governing body. From what we now know, mailing them would have been a complete waste of time. Looking at the bigger picture, we believe that what goes around comes around. Galatians 6, 7, and 1 Timothy 4, 1 through 3. It does. Whatever, I'm a firm believer in whatever you put out in the universe comes back to you.
Well, see, the thing is that particular phrase, today we will say karma is a bitch. But this is how I feel. But, Christ really mimicked those words, or maybe a lot of this came from Christ, because Christ said, what you sow, you will reap. So karma is a bitch. What you put out in the universe, people, even Christ acknowledges it's coming back to you. And Watchtower, this is truly stinging you guys on the backside, because too many people are watching these videos and they're all coming to groupthink. Get the hell out of Watchtower.
Exactly. So the last sentence on his email says, eventually the Watchtower Resort for the governing body and friends, now located in Warwick, will experience their demise.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep, they're going to run and hide in shame.
Yeah. Now, Steve Williams, not only is he a nail on the coffin, but he's one of that has his own YouTube channel. And my goodness.
Yes.
So here's his. It says, hi, Kim. Thank you for listening to me. I'm divorced from my wife, Jill, who was raped by an elder. And at the time, this dirty old man tried to stop me getting married to Jill. She's remarried now, and it's a long story, which I know you have seen my emails. I've got a lot of anger in my heart. Understandably.
Yeah.
Understandably. I now read the King James Bible. I was a servant like Mike. Please mention me and put me in a nail in the coffin. My mom came into the JWs through my dad, who was never baptized, believe it or not. My grandfather, who I found pictures of in my parents' drawer, claimed to be one of the 144,000. Before I was 12, life was great. When my nan died, they jumped on my mom. She's changed. I effing hate that cult. I'm divorced, Kim, because of all this. I've suffered a breakdown and tried to take my life a few times without success, which I know there's a lot to live for, but my son and daughter love me. My sister left the cult. There's so much I could tell you, but it's long, so I'm glad you got my email, Kim. I love you and Mike.
Thank you.
Big hugs, Steve, and thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, for your stories. You know, welcome
love
to your freedom.
Does not go unnoticed with these two people right here.
Yes, yes, and we appreciate it. And like I said, every single one of these nails on this coffin lid represents a struggle, just like what we've read to get out of this cult.
Yes.
So a lot of brave people.
Yes, I know when I first come out, and I still have the t-shirt that says Brotherhood of Cult Survivors. And this is what we truly are, because there's a lot of cults out there, and yes, there's a commonality, a familiarity in cult life. But in my strong opinion, this cult that calls itself the Watchtower Bible Tract Society, JW.org, is not like any other cult that's out there. And I will always hold to that. Yes, there's a lot of similarities, but this one's different from the perspective that even its young children are taught to ring that doorbell, say, "Hi, do you want my tract?" And that lives with that person for their entire lifetime. This is truly a disgusting organization. And I am glad that Kim and I and everybody else that dare get in front of this camera to speak the truth, to shout the truth, get angry about the truth. This organization ruins lives. They steal so much, but they're not stealing anymore, because we are having an effect against Watchtower. And these coffin lids, these ceremonies are showing it. I've mentioned it once and I'll mention it again. Decades ago, you used to be able to get the yearbook, and they used to always put down the number of those that were disfellowshipped, and they would always qualify by saying these ones have left for immoral reasons.
The majority of these have left for immoral
reasons, which leaves the Jehovah's Witness sitting in that kingdom all thinking, okay, they're fornicating, they had an affair, they're unrepentant. But today's different, isn't it, Watchtower? Yeah. Because these ones that are leaving are never going to come back, because we recognize the BS that you guys have thrown out there. These people are never coming back, so your numbers, that little crapshoot that you play, well, we're going to disfellowship them for immoral reasons. You know, once they clean their life up, they can come back to Jehovah's organization. We ain't buying it no more, because this YouTube and forums are putting an end to that nonsense.
We forgot to count how many nails in the coffin for today. So I'm sorry, I don't know how many. So when I'm editing this, I will count them and I will put it in the description or over on the little message. But I do want to say that we had a request to count how many nails we had on the coffin. So after the last nail in coffin, before we added these names today, we had 195 nails on here. So that's quite a few for, only half a year.
Yes. Yes.
So I bet we end up breaking the records of the last nail in coffins.
So.
I hope so.
But even if we don't, it still represents freedom, doesn't it?
Yes.
We're all free from this cult. And again, if Kim and I can do anything to help anybody along the way, we would be more than happy to make ourselves available. Definitely.
Yes. And unfortunately, we won't be able to Skype too much during the month of August, because it's a busy month, and I'm still on jury duty for another week. So.
Yes. So anyhow, thanks for indulging us.
Yes. Thank you for listening.
You for your love.
Thank you, everyone,
Your
so
support.
much for your stories and for your love and support and friendship. And we couldn't do this without all of you. So thank you so much. We appreciate
Yes.
it. And we love you all.
And may you all enjoy your newfound freedom, and may the things that you look for in life truly bring you happiness.
And just remember, success is the best revenge against your family
Yeah.
who have, to tell someone, I expect to hear you're dead in a gutter within a year. I mean,
Yeah.
horrible.
That's horrible.
Where's the natural affection? It's not.
They don't have it.
It's not. Not Christ-like at all.
Nope.
So, hope you all have a wonderful week, and we love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Nice to meet you, where you been? I could show you incredible things. Paradise that never ends. Tell you truth about the truth. Find out what you know. Everything you thought you knew. You got out of the crowd. New money, suit and tie. I could show you some wonderful things. Birthdays, Christmas, holidays. You never like going anyways. No more kingdom halls, service and return calls. No more at all. I can sleep in the whole weekend. So it's gonna be forever, or it's Armageddon. You can tell me when it's over, if it's paradise or heaven. God is after obvious. They'll tell you I'm insane, 'cause you know I love to think and use my brain. 'Cause they say we're reckless. We'll take this way too far. It'll leave you faithless. Don't know who you are. God is after obvious. They'll tell you I'm insane, but I'm a apostate baby, and I'll write your name.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for the wonderful song.
My pleasure.
And I want everybody to know that a couple of those verses she made up on the fly, and she did that in one take. So let's give another round of applause for Miranda. And you can find her on YouTube, right?
On Randy.
On Randy
Randy M. There we go. Yeah.
Videos up there.
Yeah. And she's got a very beautiful voice, so you can go visit her and her channel and listen to some more wonderful music.